Hey everybody, Matt Johnston here, Matt the Lawyer, with another COVID-19 legal update. As most of you know, sometime last week, or on Wednesday of last week, the Congress and the President signed into a federal emergency legislation act that provided for paid sick leave and for paid or for expanded Family and Medical Leave Act leave for employees. So the Department of Labor has put out some guidance. There's not anything new in there. There's no new regulations, but there is guidance for employees that describes what their rights are available, and for employers. So I will link to those guidances down below. The guidances pretty much restate what the legislation was, but they did it without all of the legalese. So I don't want to confuse things. One of the big things that is changed is that there is a limit on the sick leave pay that has to be provided. So if you are a covered employer and somebody needs to take sick leave for one of the specified reasons, that paid sick leave is capped at $511 per day. So it's actually the lesser of whatever their normal pay is, as long as it's minimum wage or above, and less than $511 per day. So if you have somebody who has a very high salary and they have to take leave, you don't have to pay them their super duper high salary. But you do have to pay them $511 per day. And there is an overall cap as well. And that cap varies based upon the kind of leave that's being offered. But for the 2-week leave, the 2-week paid leave, the cap is $5,000 or $5,110. So 511 times 10 days. So there's that. If there is a situation where an employee is going to be taking 2/3 of their salary, so for the most part, that is if somebody is going to be caring for a child specifically, because the school is closed or because their child care center is closed, that's capped at $200 a day, or 2/3 of their salary, provided that it's their normal salary is at least minimum wage. So that's capped at $200 per day, or $1,000 a week. So you can sort of manage that cost as well. So there is some benefits. The big news really, though, is the IRS has put out information about how the employers can go about and obtain their tax credits. And there is some very nice beneficial things. For example, if you have to grant somebody leave and so you pay them for that leave, you actually can withhold your federal income tax withholding payments to help offset that. And again, as a reminder, these are refundable tax credits. So you would be able to get back the money that you have to pay. And if you have a balance already in your sort of IRS account, you can start drawing that down. You can not pay your federal withholding taxes, and you can then request a refund later, and the IRS has promised to produce those refund checks as quickly as possible. So while you may have to go out of pocket initially, you can start recouping some of that immediately. So instead of paying your federal withholding taxes, you can just withhold that money and keep it yourself. It's kind of nice. It's a very rare occasion where you have a tax that the government allows you to keep the tax. So revel in that little bit of good news, I suppose. So I will also put the links down below to the IRS guidance for employers when you're dealing with obtaining these tax credits. There will be some regulations coming from the Department of Labor and from the Treasury Department regarding the emergency legislation, but those are not out yet. There are some questions that are still sitting out there. For example, the question of intermittent leave. Under the Family Medical Leave Act, FMLA, an employee can ask for intermittent leave. The nice thing is even though there's no guidance on that right now, as long as the employer is acting in good faith, for the first 30 days, the government is not going to enforce the penalties. There's some caveats that go into that, and that information is provided in the guidance. But for the most part, as long as you're making a good faith effort to take care of your employees, you're probably going to be in a good place. So the guidance is out there. Please, 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 if you have any questions about what you should do or what you can't do or what you can do, please contact an attorney. My scheduling link is down below. And in the meantime, this is Matt the lawyer saying, please wash your hands, practice some social distancing, keep your chin up. We are going to get through this. Start looking down the road. And in the meantime, have a good day. Bye-bye.